Wrestling fans, I'm Marcus Pierre.
And I'm David Joseph.
And this is the No Holds Barred podcast. Our mission statement is to provide reviews and our opinions on sports entertainment and professional wrestling as a whole. Now, on today's show, we're going to talk about CM Punk. Now, as you know, CM Punk made his UFC mixed martial arts debut this Sunday at September 11th at UFC 203. And he stepped into the octagon against a young up-and-comer by the name of Mickey Gall, a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And for those of you that didn't catch the show, CM Punk unfortunately lost to Mickey Gall within a minute and 26 seconds into the first round via a rear naked choke. He tapped out, unfortunately. Now, this episode is dedicated to our thoughts and what we think CM Punk will do going forward. Now, my thoughts on the fight is that I feel like Mickey Gall didn't necessarily want to throw hands and trade strikes with CM Punk, so I felt like he kind of took the easy way out and just went for the takedown and, went and worked on him with the full mount and the half mount and, locked in the choke pretty easily because I feel like he feared CM Punk's striking ability. Now, I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon of a lot of people that are just going to be down on CM Punk and not follow his UFC career outside of this fight. I'm still going to continue to watch him in his training and, see his next fight because I feel like he will eventually get some wins under his belt because at the end of the day, David, you got to admit, in sports, you're eventually going to take a loss, with the exception of Floyd Mayweather, of course, because it is a mixed martial arts sport. It's a competition at the end of the day. And, of course, and I feel like CM Punk, he did bite off a little bit more than he could chew with this fight because, CM Punk is a white belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Mickey Gall's a brown belt. So he's ranked a lot higher than CM Punk in the fighting scale. So I guess no matter how much CM Punk trained, he was going to lose the fight. But I'm still proud of him no matter what.
Let me get nice and comfortable.
Go right ahead, man.
I'm gonna even take off my glasses.
Oh, okay, all right. You don't normally do that, all right.
CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks. We've known him as the passionate guy who's always wanted to be a WWE superstar. Paid his dues on the indie scene, paid his dues in TNA, paid his dues in the WWE, made it to the top of WWE, believe it or not. As much demons as he claims he had in the WWE locker room, he was at the top of that card basically up until he left. 6th longest reigning WWE champion of all time, the only back-to-back Money in the Bank winner, multiple-time champion in any division, tag team, mid-card, you name it, CM Punk has done it. So what did he do? He leaves the company. He says he wasn't happy. To each his own. At the end of the day, we weren't back there. I'll give you that, Marcus. You've said that on numerous occasions. We don't know the full extent to what was going on back there. But here's what I will say. Here's a guy who says he's loved wrestling all his life. Wrestling is his passion. Then, just because he's pissed off a little bit, he goes and he leaves the company, lets his contract, doesn't even give a 2 weeks notice or nothing. He just walks out, leaves, cold turkey. Then he goes into mixed martial arts where he has no experience. He knows he's just a white belt. He talks all this smack saying he's going to prove the doubters wrong. He's going to excel in this brand new world because it's his passion and it's something that he's always wanted to do. I thought wrestling was his passion, but clearly MMA is his passion out of nowhere just because he wants to spite Vince and Hunter. But nevertheless, he steps into the octagon. I give him credit. He's ballsy. I would never do that personally. You get in the octagon and know my brains are going to get beaten down. Yeah. This is organized fighting. Yeah. I love the WWE, but at the end of the day, it's not MMA. It's a different monster. For him to think that a 38-year-old like himself, who had to cut all that weight, who is inexperienced, who is just a white belt, could step up into an octagon due to his name in wrestling and survive, he's arrogant and he embarrassed himself. He embarrassed the UFC. He embarrassed his trainers. He embarrassed his fans. He's not arrogant one bit. He is arrogant. He's a performer. He thought he could walk up in there. I'm a multi-millionaire already due to wrestling. He has the finances. I have the celebrity. Yeah. I could walk in here and hold my own. That's what he thought. But it didn't go his way. And now he's like, oh, I got to go back to the drawing board. Oh, it's a win for me just because I showed up and fought. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. America, this is the problem with America. They say
now it's about America now.
Yeah, it is. When you lose, it's like, oh, it's okay. I'm not. Maybe I should. You don't want.
You might as well be a politician.
Anything's better than Trump. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Here I'm saying is, America, oh, you lose, it's okay. You get a bronze medal, you get a silver medal, you get a constellation prize. Oh, but when you win, you can't be proud of a win now? This dude sounded like he was content with losing after 2 years of putting in the work.
All right.
He sounded okay with losing.
I don't think
I'm a winner. I had the time of my life. I'm a winner regardless.
That's called being humble.
I'm done with him.
It's called being humble.
Now he's
actually
humble.
showing character,
Now he's humble.
showing personality. No point intended. He is the epitome of a cult of personality. That's a sportsman at the end of the day. He did give a promo saying that, in life you should just believe in yourself at the end of the day and have faith in what you have to do. It doesn't matter what the outcome is going to be. You just go out and try to pursue it anyway. CM Punk was just honestly trying to be a welterweight champion. I mean, even if he is...
Why go in the UFC?
Because that's what he wanted to do.
You wanted to get beat up just to say you got beat up, just to say I did it. Just to say, I went in the...
I mean, it is on his bucket list. I mean,
honestly, that is an embarrassment
in his mind. All right, I'll give him credit. In his mind, I feel like he is trying to be the welterweight champion. But if it doesn't happen, he's okay with that regardless, because at least at the end of the day,
that's not a winning mentality.
You
see, Mickey Gall had a totally different mentality. That's another thing that gave him the edge. Also, he had experience, of course, but he wanted to win. Punk, I got to see the clips of the fight. I didn't watch the fight, but I got to go back and see it. Punk didn't even look like he wanted to throw it. He didn't even look like he wanted to.
You see, that's you not watching the fight.
No,
what he actually did,
like
he leaned in with just a punch to lean in with like a left hook. You see what I'm saying? That's what he tried to do. If the fight would have went longer, you would have saw a little bit more from his arsenal.
Even on defense, he wasn't even defending the hits that well.
Because Mickey Gall's a brown belt. He's experienced like that. His last 2 fights actually ended with him choking out his opponent with that patented rear naked choke. It's what he does at the end of the day. CM Punk, he was outmatched, but he's just not going to let that deter him at the end of the day. And honestly, when it comes to just the WWE, let's just talk about that for a second. I feel like he wasn't even thinking about the WWE with this fight. He's thinking about himself because he's past the WWE. And I'm gonna actually address the elephant in the room, and I'm gonna let you guys know here on the No Dash Holds Barred podcast. I gotta let you wrestling fans know, the internet wrestling community, CM Punk is not coming back to the WWE. I don't care what you say during the press conference.
Bret Hart wasn't supposed to come back. Just like Ultimate Warrior wasn't supposed to come back.
He's not Bret. He's not Ultimate Warrior. That's a different time. CM Punk, he's too much of his own person. Not saying that Bret and Ultimate Warrior are not. It's just, it's a different circumstance because they didn't try to pursue a combat career or anything else outside of the WWE. They were just on the sidelines, just waiting for the WWE to call them. Let's call a spade a spade. But at the end of the day, it's like, he's past the WWE because I remember during the press conference, a reporter actually asked CM Punk, Punk, why did you choose the Cult of Personality theme song as your theme song to go down to the Octagon? He says, well, don't you know? It's a good song. Don't you like it in Living Color? Honestly, Punk would have, if he truly wanted to come back to the WWE, he would have said, oh, that was my theme song in the WWE. He didn't say that.
His ego won't let him admit that he needs the WWE. Maybe he should go back to the WWE because MMA is not for CM Punk.
It is for CM Punk.
It's not for CM Punk. He can't fight in the Octagon. Go back to WWE, have a one-off match, get your Hall of Fame induction, call it a career, go home to AJ Lee. Live off your millions. So MMA is not for everybody. He's not Brock Lesnar. This whole journey to him...
You can't compare him to Brock Lesnar you can't compare him.
I can't.
Brock Lesnar had a world heavyweight title shot on his second fight.
I agree with you. You can't compare him to Brock Lesnar. But the whole build-up to the fight, I'm reading article after article here and podcast after podcast. They keep asking him questions relating him and Brock Lesnar's journey to MMA. That's apples to oranges. It's not the same thing. First of all, Brock Lesnar, at least he was an NCAA champion, so he had a background in mat skills and mat wrestling, so he already had experience. CM Punk has no experience. Let me ask you a question. If you're the boss of a cooking company and you're hiring chefs, are you going to hire chefs with experience or are you going to hire the chef with no experience? I'm not hiring the person with no experience. Experience is a plus in any field.
I get what you're saying, but you know what? I'll use your analogy. Yes, I would hire the chef with more experience, but yet If that chef that has no experience shows hunger, shows that he's determined to learn with little to no skills, I'll still hire him anyway because maybe he might impress me. I give everybody a chance, which is why I gave CM Punk a fair chance in this fight. It's not being desperate. It's called being open-minded, and I was open-minded to CM Punk's fight, which I'm also optimistic to see his career going outside of the WWE. But let me tell you something though, right? You know CM Punk, 37 years old. Are you saying that he's not athletic? Because to be honest with you, during his documentary of the evolution of Punk, he was hanging in there with some of the greats. He was hanging in there with his trainer Duke Rufus with the sparring sessions and the treadmill workouts, and he actually had a live fight inside of that gym, and he held his own to some degree. So I'm asking you.
CM Punk is an athlete. I mean, he was wrestling for his whole life. I mean, once you're doing that, you're an athlete to me. The athlete never leaves you. You know, you're an athlete. You're an athlete.
So it's like, he's an athlete, so he can just take that.
My thing is, this is the mixed martial arts. He's only gonna get older,
but he's only gonna get better. Because right now he's at
young,
his worst.
But he's young. A better. He doesn't deserve to be in the UFC.
No. I mean,
that they literally took a guy who hasn't proven anything and threw him on the big stage just to cash in on his name. This wasn't because CM Punk. This wasn't because CM Punk maybe could have won or maybe could fight. This was all a business move. And honestly,
just like Kimbo Slice, may he rest in peace. Just like Brock Lesnar, just like Ken Shamrock, he brought them in to make money.
Shamrock worked out. Those guys
and go to his next fight and get the W is what I'm saying. At the end of the day.
All I could say is I'm a CM Punk fan. I love CM Punk, MMA fighter, and the arrogant guy who turned his back on us, talked all that smack just for this to happen.
Man.
I don't respect that.
You see, I think you're getting your adjectives confused, and you're confusing arrogance for, in a sense, optimism, because that's what he's being at the end of the day. You know, he did, bite off more than he could chew, but at the same time, he just wanted to test himself because CM Punk wants a challenge at the end of the day. He didn't want an easy fight because at the end of the day, if he was to scrape somebody who was just an amateur, a no-namer, then it'll be like...
Cut that promo. Yes, it was a promo, even though it was the UFC, to cover up for the loss. Great promo, but it doesn't give him a pass.
One more thing.
It was a bad loss.
One more thing. And the thing is, CM Punk, he cut 20 pounds. If he was to go to the WWE, he wouldn't be really taken seriously because he's skinny. He's a slim man. He's a welterweight. Whoa. When he was in person, he was very tall. He's very lengthy right now. So it's like, for him to go back to the WWE, he would have to train. He would have to put on the weight. He would have to relearn all the things that he forgot wrestling-wise. He's 37 years old. Can't do it. He wouldn't be able to. It's not that he wouldn't be able to do it. It's just he doesn't want to at the end of the day.
Pride comes before the fall.
As if there's a fall to begin with. But at the same time, if you agree with what I say or what David said, please let us know in the comment section. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page at the No Dash Holds Barred Podcast.